The Wind Hashira and the Serpent Hashira follow two guys up the mountain to an abandoned fortress. The Wind Hashira is pissed that the demons get to live like lords. The Serpent Hashira asked if someone was actually kidnapped. The two guys tail the demon into the building but find nothing. I'll call them by their breathing styles. Wind doesn't believe that the demon and the kidnapped woman just disappeared into thin air yesterday. Despite the tight security, another woman was still kidnapped today. But it seems they're just in time as they sight a demon carrying a tied-up woman over his shoulder. The four of them immediately chase after the demon. The demon realizes he's being followed. The Hashiras and the two men walk into the abandoned castle. They immediately realize that they're surrounded by demons. The demons dive in head first for the weaker humans, but are sent to their, well, I can't say maker, because they're dead. Let's say they are being sent to hell. The Hashiras send the two men back because they barely made it through with their lives in their hands. The two Hashira wonder why demons swarm this place. In the middle of reasoning what's going on here, they hear a lady scream. Wind immediately jumps to the next floor and sees about another 100 demons. He uses wind breathing, second form, to wipe half of them away. Serpent Hashira jumps in and sends the rest to hell with the fifth form of his breathing technique. The demon with the lady shrieks in fear and runs away because he has seen firsthand the power of these two demon slayers. Wind tells him to leave the lady behind, and his head too. The demon jumps through a hole in the wall, and the wind follows without a second thought. The Wind Hashira goes after the woman, while the Serpent Hashira goes on decapitating the demons. The demon throws the lady right over the wind's head, and the serpent catches her. The both Hashira immediately charge at the demon, who jumps back into the building through the roof. Once they jump in, they meet with something even their eyes cannot believe: a society of demons. That reminds me of the Infinity Castle. Let us digress a little, story time. In an anime called Demon Slayer, there exists a place so bewildering it makes MC Escher's staircases look like child's play. We're talking about the Infinity Castle, a dimension with more twists and turns than a Christopher Nolan film. Picture this: endless wooden rooms, halls that move like they're dancing in a Bollywood movie, and gravity that's so confused it doesn't know which way is up, literally. Now, at the helm of this mind-bending maze is Nakime, the demon with a flair for the dramatic. She's like the director of a chaotic symphony, wielding her biwa like a conductor's baton to teleport demons around, like they're characters in a Studio Ghibli film. Need to send Muzan to the surface? No problem. Nakime just strums a few chords, and poof, he's outside, contemplating his next evil scheme under the moonlight. But Nakime's teleportation game isn't limited to just the castle's confines. Oh no, she's got range like Goku's Kamehameha. She once whisked Enmu away to a town so remote, even Google Maps couldn't find it. And when the Hashira thought they had Muzan cornered, Nakime pulled a move straight out of Inception, opening doors that sent them tumbling into the castle's labyrinth. So next time you find yourself lost in a maze of wooden corridors, just remember, it could be worse. You could be trapped in the Infinity Castle, where the only way out is through Nakime's supernatural concert. But hey, at least the scenery's to die for, literally. The thing is, I can't tell if this is the Infinity Castle or just another castle. Could they be two of this? I doubt, but I'm sure waiting to find out. Back to where we stopped. In the split seconds before they landed, the Wind Hashira still tries to kill the demon that has been abducting people, but the in-house castle disappears. As if the Serpent Hashira was not there when all this happened, he's asking the Wind Hashira what just happened, like he's supposed to have more info than him, the Wind Hashira answered. But it can't be, 'cause I'll most definitely just hiss. Kanao returns from her mission. She reports back to her master, the insect Hashira. She reports that the incident at the Swordsmith Village is as she described before. Thanks to a few people, they were able to defeat the upper-ranked demons. Not only that, Nezuko is now a sun-walking demon. Muzan would most likely be making plans to take her for himself. The Hashira said she'd be leaving, since a Hashira emergency meeting has been called. She's leaving the safety and well-being of Nezuko in the hands of Kanao. Tanjiro is finally up. Let's take a few seconds to remember all the hardship Tanjiro had been through since Season 1, last season, when we thought for a few seconds that we lost Nezuko. Man, that was a lot. A Kikuchi sat next to him while he was eating and was filling his cup about all the deets of what's going on. The people of the Swordsmith Village are scared. More demons will appear at night, so they're moving to a nearby empty village built by the Demon Slayer Corps, just in case something like this happens. The Kikuchi wonders if Tanjiro should be stuffing himself with food since he was asleep for 7 days straight. I won't lie. If I slept 1 whole day straight, the hunger would wake me, and straight into the kitchen I'd go. Even if I'm in a coma, the way I feel hungry when I wake up these days is something else. The Kikuchi likens him to the love Hashira. I'm gonna liken them to a whole lot of other anime characters. Once the anime has to do with immense physical strength, they don't just eat meals, they eat like a banquet. DBS, Naruto, etc. The Wind and Serpent Hashira arrive at the Hashira meeting quite late. They apologize for keeping them waiting. Wind acknowledges that Love and Mist encountered upper demons, got their ass severely injured and healed in just 2 days. That felt miraculous even for them, seeing all the Hashira together, and it comes to mind, have you ever wanted a Hashira Action figure? If yes, then check the description below to know more about how to win your own Hashira Action figure. I've got mine. What's stopping you from competing and winning yours? It's a lucky draw, you might just be the winner. Amane arrives at the meeting and informs everyone that the head of the family, Kagaya, won't ever be seeing them again because of his condition. The Hashira bow their heads, as the stone Hashira said he'll put the head of the family in his prayers. The Sunwalker, Nezuko, has emerged. It's only fitting to assume that Muzan will make his move to have her, which will lead to an all-out war. While Love and Mist Hashira faced the upper-ranked demons, a unique mark appeared on their body. Amane requests they inform the remaining Hashira as to how the mark came about. Before that, she explained that a long time ago, a few demon slayers chased Muzan to the brink of extinction. A few of them had marks on their body that were unusual. This information was suppressed as time passed because demon slayers began to seek tooth and nail for the mark. In this generation, the first to attain this mark was our boy, Tanjiro. He doesn't know how the mark came about, and now the Love Hashira and the Mist Hashira have also manifested the marks too. She asked that they please enlighten the house. The Love Hashira opened her mouth and amazed me with everything that came out of her lips. First, she was lost in thought about how cute Amane was. Then she began to explain how the mark came about like a child. She felt ashamed immediately. Mist immediately started explaining what he thinks are the conditions to meet before getting the mark. The conditions he laid out from the battle that night were crazy. A temperature higher than boiling point, heart beating at the speed of 100 beats per minute, and a thirst for the fight. Amane took her leave. The stone Hashira said everyone should wait for a second round of the meeting so they can discuss the Hashira training program. Mist Hashira got up and turned to take his leave. Wind Hashira was determined to make him stay one way or another. Mist Hashira said he's not the same as them. In this context, one could say it's directly because of that mark, but deep down, I can tell that there's more to it than just that mark. Despite Love trying to calm Wind down, he moved towards Mist, probably with the intent to draw his sword. Stone Hashira stops them with a powerful shockwave by just clapping his hands, just like Forearms does in Ben 10 but with less effort. Tanjiro is offered more food. The Kikuchi is just feeding him back to back. Bro is catching up on 7 days' worth of food. The Kikuchi asked about the 3 little kids and Aoi because he hadn't seen them around. They're not taking care of anyone, so they're playing around with Nezuko, which is good because now she's learning to speak little by little. The Kikuchi expresses his concern about the tranquility of the household going into shambles when the yellow-haired guy, speak of the devil and here he is, comes around. Zenitsu was just around the corner. The 3 little girls came out to greet him. He explained that the mission was so difficult he thought he'd die once or twice, but gladly he's back. He mentioned that he knows they won't be happy without him. They flushed his pride down the drain by saying they didn't really miss him. Aoi came out from behind and also threw a pancake on his face by saying she didn't miss him. If that wasn't bad enough, Nezuko came to welcome him too. On seeing her, his eyes widened like SpongeBob's round eyes. Zen was so happy, he was screaming at the top of his voice and letting off electrical charges. He dashed over to her and complimented her. If you have a girl you only see at night, the day you see her under the sunlight, act too shocked and surprised, then walk up to her and say these exact words by Zen. You're a crazy sight to see under the moonlight, but in the sunlight you're crazy gorgeous, Subarashi. Nezuko welcomed him with a bright smile and blush on her face, but called him Inosuke. This breaks his heart, and he turns around and says he's going to kill him. Tanjiro asked where Inosuke is, that boar-head boy. The Kikuchi told him that he's been schooling Nezuko. He's been teaching and hell-bent on teaching her his name. Tanjiro is still asking for more food. What's the difference between him and Straw Hat Luffy, the soon-to-be king of pirates? Haganazuki, the swordsmith that makes swords for Tanjiro, came in limping. Remember, the guy was so pissed about the last sword he didn't finish. Tanjiro collected it and still broke it. The swordsmith gave him the sword. It had a fire design on its sheet. It's an even more beautiful sword now that I've seen the blade. It's giving Enma vibe, one of the blades Roronoa Zoro used. The sword was originally Rengoku's and is called Kotetsu. The original forger of this blade made it so strong so it would be used to kill all demons on the face of the earth. Haganazuki says the sword is so old but gold. Tanjiro said when he used the sword before, he didn't see the character Destroy engraved on it. Haganazuki reminds him that he didn't let him finish honing the sword. If not that his body is still hurting and he can't stand up and beat sense into Tanjiro, you know what? He decided to pinch the cheeks out of Tanjiro's face. The Kikuchi said Tanjiro's injuries were severe, but Haganazuki didn't care about that. He only proceeded to condition Tanjiro to bring him rice dumplings for the rest of his life, till the day he dies. Haganazuki took his leave. The Kikuchi said he's heard rumors about Kaganazuki, but he didn't know it's like this. Tanjiro assured him that this is nothing. He's cool like this because he's probably in a lot of pain. The gunslinger Genya, lying next to Tanjiro, commented on their noise-making. Tanjiro was about to say the noise-making would take a dive down, but Inosuke had other plans for that. Before Tanjiro could finish his sentence, the boar-headed guy burst through the window. Inosuke is hyper as ever, screaming at the top of his voice. The gunslinger wishes he was out in a separate room from Tanjiro. Inosuke screamed at the top of his voice that the group strength training is beginning. Inosuke doesn't really have much information about it. He's just happy to be training. This guy is one of a kind. I remember when Bro said he moved his heart to another part of his body. How's that even possible? We actually thought we lost him when he was stabbed, but Bro had other plans and wasn't ready to go to Demon Slayer Heaven. At the meeting of the Hashira, everyone agreed to the Hashira training program except the Mist Hashira, who had formally declared that he wants nothing to do with the Hashira training program. The Stone Hashira declares that the program be opened in 3 days. That's a bit early, but still they've got no time to lose. Who knows when Muzan is planning to attack? If he does attack, it's going to be a full-out war with the emergence of the Sunwalker Nezuko. The activities of demons have taken a tone down. So this is the perfect time for them to pass their trainees from one Hashira to the other and raise the bar of the entire Demon Slayer Corps. Everyone is in conjunction with the plan. They also plan to get training from retired Hashira. Zen is not in tune with the plan of training, and training this hard on top of that. He just got off a mission, and now he has to go through another round of hell. Tanjiro, on the other hand, thinks it's a great idea that they'll be training. Zen added that they'd be training under every Hashira. This made Tanjiro more happy because training under superiors is a shortcut to learn faster than just usual training. Zen really hates the idea of training and wishes whoever came up with the idea of this training should go to hell. Zen yells at Tanjiro, saying that if he's going to be this furball of positivity, then they can't be friends anymore. Zen is lazy and does not like extra work. I am Zen. Zen is me. Zen stood up and was leaving, still telling Tanjiro not to talk to him. Tanjiro called out to him and said he has one more thing to say. Tanjiro thanked him for teaching him a technique of his. When Tanjiro was up against that very annoying demon that split into 4, the main body, which is very tiny, and 3 other powerful bodies, Tanjiro lost a leg. So he used one of Zen's styles to dash towards the demon and sliced its neck. Zen's face brightened up like all the bad news about training that he's been yapping and complaining about didn't exist. Meanwhile, in the mountains, former the Sound Hashira, Lord Tengen was training a few of his disciples. And damn, that's a whole lot of work. Imagine going through all this stress, then moving on to another Hashira to undergo another type of training. I see what Zen was worrying about. He's making them run for stamina. From the looks of it, they've been running for a whole lot of time now. I would be considering running from Tengen this time, but what good would it do? He'd catch up with me in no time. He said that the training with other Hashira would be a whole lot tougher than this. His wives at one side prepared rice balls for everyone. They called out to Tengen that lunch is ready. Tengen told his trainees that lunch is ready, but who has the strength right now to think about eating? They fall one by one face flat on the floor. His wives bring for him a bowl of soup. They asked him what training will they undergo after this. He explains that first they'll undergo the Mist Hashira rapid movement training. Second, they'll undergo Love Hashira hellish flexible training. Third, the Serpent Hashira will sharpen their sword skill. Fourth, the Wind Hashira will put them through more hell. Why exactly would you name your program Infinite Slashing Training? And lastly, the Stone Hashira, who'd train them for muscle amplification. Like he always said, that's flashy, isn't it? The other Hashira are training their disciples too. Everyone is going through hell. The peace that will come with Muzan's death will be inexplicable. I don't know what Love is doing with her trainees, but I hope in hell that she's not bending them into positions a human body should go just for training. Stone Hashira had them praying under a waterfall. Even Survey Corps didn't go through all this stress. Message for Tanjiro. The Water Hashira won't be taking part in the training. Just like you and I, he's also wondering why. Amane takes care of the head of the clan. He thanked her for all she's done from the depths of his heart. Tamayo, sitting all alone in a house in the middle of the woods, protected or let's say hidden by talisman. A crow flew in through the window. It informs her that it's been looking for her for a long time. It tells her that the Sun Walker has emerged. Together with her help and a girl who's vast in demon physiology, it'd be a great deal of help in defeating Muzan. But is she up for the task? Don't forget, check the description below for the steps to win your very own Hashira action figure.